Welcome to True Talk, brought to you by Trueland Equipment. Join us as we explore cutting-edge machinery, groundbreaking technology, and inspirational stories from the field.
From the dedicated efforts of our team members to the triumphs and challenges of our farmers, True Talk brings you along every step of the way.
Whether you're a seasoned agriculturalist or simply curious about the industry, tune in to discover the fascinating intersection of technology, agriculture, and green machines.
True Talk, cultivating true conversations. Welcome back to the latest True Talk episode. I feel like I always do the intros.
You do. You're good at that.
I think we need to start having you do it. Anyways, welcome back to the latest True Talk episode. Today, we're going to switch from, we were just talking fungicide on our latest agronomy update, and now we're going to go full circle moment here and talk a little bit about harvest for the time being.
Harvest technology.
Harvest technology, of course. Yes. No, nobody's ready to harvest. So some areas are further along than others, but I don't think anybody's quite that far along, thankfully.
Got a new first-time guest.
We do. First-time guest, long-time listener, right?
Yes, long-time listener, big-time fan. Love True Talk podcast. Name's Jackson Lyons. I'm a CST out of the Coldwater store, so cohorts here with Josh and Jordan.
One of our team members. And the check's in the mail. Thank you very much for the compliment.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, I'm trying to get the word out. It's a great podcast.
Pretty sure you'll listen to this episode then.
I don't know. I was actually thinking about that because I'm like, maybe this is the one episode I won't listen to just because I'm in it. I don't know if I want to be.
Oh, you got to.
I don't know.
So what are we going to talk about? You said harvest technology.
Harvest technology. I think we're going to talk. So we spend a lot of time, I feel like, talking about hardware. It's kind of hard to talk hardware on a podcast. I think that hardware needs a visual, but you know what doesn't need a visual? Software. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, everyone's favorite topic, right?
Software updates. Software updates, yeah.
Yeah, huge thing.
Yeah, no. Thankfully, I feel like our harvest ones, they get tested out west before they come and work their way over to us. So they're pretty well known.
You're talking about a lot of the technologies in the combine. There's been some great innovative stuff coming on. We've had a podcast on the harvest automation features, which...
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that falls... I'll call it the in-between. I mean, it's not software, it's not hardware, but it is... Overall, it's just technology advancements. It's technology and software, or hardware and software working in conjunction with each other to create... I mean, look at our new S7s. That's a entirely new machine, essentially.
Right. And you love it when new features come and they start off on the right foot. And again, we were definitely happy with some of the things we saw last harvest on some automation. And we got some new toys, new functionalities, new features, I guess. So a couple weeks ago, Jackson did an internal talk on grain harvest weight sharing. Did I say that right?
You did say that right.
Okay, which is just like it sounds, right? So give us kind of the gist of that, Jackson, if you would.
Yeah, so there's always been a communication aspect when you're in the field trying to figure out how much grain is on a grain cart versus what's in the semi or wagons versus what's in the combine, right? And so...
We don't like the walkie-talkies anymore.
Yeah, right. Well, we don't like the two-way radios, the walkie-talkies, the constant
CB,
phone calls.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're getting away from that in a lot of different ways, aren't we?
Yeah.
The phone call. Okay, so you come from a farming background, right?
Correct. I
not
do.
Not to interject or anything, but what is your method of communication?
Two-way radios that don't really work all the time because Grandpa cheaps out on them, so they're not very good
so
quality.
like walkie-talkies.
Well, they're basically walkie-talkies that work half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, so I come from a farm background. They use the good old tried and true CBs, and then married into a family who is on the walkie-talkie or phone call train.
Right.
The phone calls, that's the worst.
Your phone calls are horrendous.
But I think that's picked up in popularity too, because it's so convenient. Because everybody has one. It's inconvenient, but it's also
unless
convenient.
you're in an area with horrible cell signal, or you're trying to like harvest down corn or drive a grain cart and catch the combine.
Yeah.
Right.
All of which can be eliminated with grain harvest weight sharing.
Correct. Yeah. So a lot of grain carts already had scales on them, right? So that was another way they were trying to eliminate that. So they had scales and displays to show that weight. So John Deere decided they wanted to tap into that, and so by tapping into the actual scale head on the grain cart, you can or John Deere's engineered a way that it will patch the weight that the scale head is reading into the display of the grain cart tractor display. And then from there, it's utilizing technology that John Deere already has in place, right? So the in-field data sharing will let that weight be shared to the combine display, right?
Yeah.
Or any other display in the field for that matter. So if you have multiple grain cart operators or multiple combines around the field, you can all see what is on each grain cart and what's on each combine, right?
So for the customers that are used to our in-field data sharing technology, which we've had for years at this point now, it's the same technology essentially that we've used to share our passes. So any of
Right.
our application layers or whatever as applied
It's just one more
coverage
step.
maps.
It's one more step in that.
Yeah, it's just taking the
think
weight.
that's-
So it's not, again, we're just building upon an existing portfolio of technology and applying it in a different way, which I think is what Deere has been so far advanced for so long and what their technology offerings are, that I think that we're starting to see more of this, I'll call it a full circle moment happen, where we start to see technologies that we've been using for years revolutionized and repurposed. So using the same capabilities, and again, not a software engineer, so don't ask me about the backside of that. But we're seeing that revolutionized to be able to be applied in new areas to, in this case, create this next level harvest experience. So I also like this, though, from the side of we get rid of an iPad.
Yeah, that was the other thing that kind of killed me is, and I think we've seen a progression where as precision technology kind of ramped up, there was more and more displays and more screens in a cab, and
Yeah.
we've kind of gone all the way up and come back down in a sense, because
Yeah.
now anymore, the most you really see in a cab is two, like in a John Deere cab, right? You have your main display and sometimes an extended display, right? And so if guys were running some other form of, or some other method to check the grain weight in a grain cart, they had another display or another iPad or whatever, so that gets rid of that, right?
Yeah.
So
And a lot of people with other planters, other planting technologies, when they're using their pucks, they will have an iPad in the cab for that purpose. But now that we can have the data flow in through Operation Center and look like seamless John Deere data because of that cloud-based component and the connections that are available through Operation Center, again, we're just limiting the clutter in the cab.
Right.
yeah, and not to backtrack too much, but like you mentioned, we're like John Deere has kind of built the foundation, right, for all of this stuff to happen. So that's one of the best parts about all these advancements is it doesn't take a huge investment to make it a possibility. And
Yeah.
that's the same thing with the grain harvest weight sharing. You're utilizing a lot of the same foundations of technology, like you said, Operation Center, infield data sharing, to make that happen. So it doesn't cost the customer very much to implement these solutions or these technologies.
Great point.
The costs that are associated are hardware.
Correct. It's just hardware, right? As long as you had the licensing or subscriptions beforehand, right? So
And what are those?
So for your new G5 displays, you need a G5 Advanced license, and that'll get you your infield data sharing as well as the grain harvest weight sharing. And then for the Gen 4s, you need Automation 4.0 for that.
Which is so interesting to me because on the Gen 4s, infield data sharing is part of 3.0, but you need 4.0 for this. But then for the advanced license on the G5s, that includes infield data sharing.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting how they've changed, how they bundled some of that stuff together.
Yeah, I just like to call out the differences because I think that sometimes it can get confusing that people can't. Well, and we see the permanent licenses come with the G5. So it's interesting to some that they can't get that as a permanent license anymore.
And I've had conversations here lately too with some customers where they're, with the 2630 trade-in program going on, they've been trying to figure out what display they want to go to. And so we hash out, hey, if you get a 4640 universal, the only thing that's really tied to it is that AutoTrac, and everything else has to come through a 3.0 or a 4.0 subscription.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, let's just go up to that G5 because that comes with section control, AutoTrac, and if they want row sense.
Yeah.
And then they only need the G5 Advanced to get some of those other features if they so choose.
Yeah.
Which is a good value. I mean, that's really, in the 4640 is a great display. don't want to sell it short. But the reality is the G5 is kind of the way to go now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and with the G5, talking harvest and software specifically, there are some software update capabilities that are only available on the G5. Some that are available on Gen Forest, but do you want to talk about some of the other software updates that are available or coming for fall?
the features.
Yeah. This feature is already here, I guess. Which is
A lot of these are.
a lot of them are here.
But we haven't applied them. We haven't used them
Correct.
for harvest. So yeah.
One of the big ones. I think it's big to me because it seems very intuitive. Is the ability to pinch the screen and manipulate it that way. It's funny, we say pinch and like I'm making this hand gesture and no one knows what I'm
Like the
talking
pinch
about.
to zoom,
But we've been so used to using screens in our day-to-day life now, and they're all touch screen, right?
Yeah.
And so you can manipulate that screen a lot of times to
I
how you
think-
want it. But the displays, John Deere displays, were like you wanted to zoom out or zoom in or drag over, drag there. Like it wasn't. You had to touch a button like
Right.
arrows, right? And that was super.
CarPlay's still like that, and that's really annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it
it's
is.
it's super.
I thought
annoying.
that John Deere was so far behind, and then I got CarPlay,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're behind too!" Like
Yeah.
everybody, it's so
That is
intuitive to do it
annoying.
on your phone.
Right.
Yes.
It is annoying.
Yes, and so now that is just with the software update for the new G5 displays will enable you to pinch and manipulate that screen without having to use arrow buttons to
Yeah.
slide things around.
Which seems so crazy, and it seems
Yeah.
so like, okay, that's probably just a UX thing, user experience. It's like not actually important, but I think there is some validity as to why they integrated that now, and they haven't. I mean, I don't know why they haven't in the past, but now I can see why John Deere saw the need for that, and that is, we're using things like grain harvest weight sharing, and being able to see that number populate around the equipment location is going to be important. So for the grain cart and the combine, even if they are separated in the field, you can still pull up that grain cart and see the weight on there. So that's the first thing. And then also machine sync.
Yeah.
So, we have long time been using locations, but you either zoom out to where your big, massive combine looks like it's the size of a pinhead, or you're zoomed in and you can't actually see the location unless you can hope that the dust isn't big and the sun's not right in the perfect blind spot in your mirror where that tractor's coming from. And yeah, so now we can see all that stuff very quickly. So it's not an inconvenience to have to click, to shift over. And
That's the point.
And
Is
look
how
for-
how simple we can do this now and quickly we can do this.
But I think it adds a safety component to it as well. I mean, we talked about how unsafe it is to be whipping out your phone. It's really unsafe to be staring at your screen
Right.
while you're harvesting and try to tab over 100 times till you can find the tractor that you're looking for while you're stopped collecting cab corn. So
Yeah, cap corn.
Definitely a more user friendly feature now. So, and that's something we needed terribly. I mean, anybody that had messed with a display would struggle with that zoom the way it was. So, it's great improvement.
Another big thing that can be your favorite. My favorite is the split screen mapping. So I think that adds, again, we're reducing the clutter in the cab.
Yep.
I hate the multiple screens. If you want to have an extended, that is, I totally get it. I understand that you want more surface area, more square footage there to be able to see what you need to see. Because there's a lot of stuff to monitor, especially if you're running a new combine.
This is enabling a technology that you used to have an iPad to do.
Yeah,
And it's going to be well received.
So obviously there's benefits for spraying, planting. We're able to put multiple screens there, multiple layers. But for harvest, and I think of years, what was it, last year or 2 years ago when we just could not get black layer and stuff was
last
wet.
year.
Yeah, that was just last year.
Yeah.
And that seems like that was 10 years ago.
I know. I was just talking about how I've been here for a little over a year, and it feels like I've been here for 10.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of stuff already.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I can definitely see the benefit in being able to see a side-by-side comparison of yield and moisture. I think that customers being able to see the correlation right there on their screen.
Yep.
Instead of having to go back and try to remember, because let's be honest, you might think that you're going to remember to look at that specific spot in the field, but you might not.
Right.
So I think that's going to be pivotal. And then, just the ability to, again, reduce clutter and see all the information on one screen. Those G5s are a little bit bigger. We
Yes.
have more square footage,
Screen area.
Yeah, there's larger screen dimensions. So with that, we're able to bring a little bit more to the table, and I think that's just going to be an awesome feature to use this fall.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And you know, the customers like, I'm like, hey, let's look at this after the fact. But the reality is when they're running their field and they remember, hey, this out here, we spread some manure in this spot, or we changed hybrids here. They want to see that stuff real time when they're harvesting.
Yeah.
And being able to split that screen, they're going to have the information they want to see
Well,
in real time.
And I think it almost will spur them to try and come back and look at it, because when they
Right.
compare it and see it, you know, a lot of times, and I talked about this morning at a different event about how we're trying to get that farmer to utilize all that data. We're generating all this data. It's going into their operations center account, you know, and so I think this is just another tool to be like, hey, if you're seeing it happen in the field, like you get that, it's going to leave a little note in their head. And they're
Right.
going to say, hey, I do want to go back and look specifically at this field, instead of saying, oh, I have, 10 fields and there's just so much, I don't even know where to start. So they just don't
Right.
even start.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
It's going to encourage them to go back and dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it is a little bit daunting, but I think that all of this technology and operation center, it just makes it so easy. But I can definitely see how customers could be intimidated by some of this stuff before they really start to dive into it and get familiar.
Yeah. Jackson, you brought up something I bring up a lot is we have a lot invested in this data collection, and we need to utilize it. We need to do something, and we've continued to make steps and get closer and closer and farther along the path of giving them tools to get more out of this data, and even on the fly. So some of these features are definitely going to enhance that, enhance these customers getting something out of that data.
Yeah.
Speaking of data, there are some new features that are coming to Op Center. So one is going to be only for the model year 25 machines, but in our Work Analyzer tab, there is a new technology tab, so we can actually, which this has been available for a long time. It's been a little bit hidden, but we can actually go in and see our technology utilization, so we can see the for example, the percentage where AutoTrac is engaged versus not, or where AutoPath is being, if we're running AutoPath rows or we're not. And I know that some people who are who have more of a managerial role versus a operator role in their farm or on a farm within an organization know that this feature exists. So we've had it for a little bit. There is going to be now a specific call out tab for technology and technology usage. So it'll break down the usage of harvest settings automation, ground speed automation, and all of those features and how they apply to our overall optimization for your combine. There is also a new feature coming. So similar to Work Analyzer, it's basically the new and improved Work Analyzer, I'll call it, is the work overview. So all of the metrics that we get from the combine are now going to be available in a work overview perspective. So we can see actual bar graphs for some things, or line graphs for example, our productivity, our progress throughout the field. Did we make a lot of progress, or probably a little bit of progress as we're opening up that field? And then as we get into the long rows, our productivity is increasing.
Right.
We can see where we kind of started to hit some point rows, maybe where we stopped for dinner, which is very important.
Very important.
You should definitely do that.
Yeah.
The dinner is on the fly. They get tiring after a while. You should definitely stop for dinner.
So this is data that was kind of always been there, but it's just easier to get to.
It's been there, but I feel like you had to go to 7 different
Right.
places to look at it. And some of it you could only see if you caught it in the moment
Right.
as the field was actively being harvested.
Yeah.
On that home page, whether you're looking on Op Center Mobile or in the web, kind of varies a little bit where that data was available. But it was available, some of it in real time, some of it was available after the fact, some of it was both, but you had to go in multiple different places. Now this work overview tab will integrate that seamlessly into one collective page, so you can break that down and analyze that for your operation.
It'll be used.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait for this. I
Yeah.
think that it's going to be so beneficial, not only for us, but and there's so many ways. We'd be here all day if I could say all the ways that it would benefit us, but customers as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're always looking for ways to be more efficient. A lot of the things we talk about are about improving efficiency, and that's
Yeah.
just one other way for people to look at their efficiency and see
of
where
course.
they can improve.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. I
And
mean,
it's-
that's what this grain harvest weight sharing is all about.
That's right.
Is improving efficiency.
Yeah.
So, especially when we have multiple machines, multiple operators, multiple we're running a complex system here. So, reducing those bottlenecks wherever possible. And again, back to Josh's point, we are already collecting this data. There is no reason for us to not utilize it, not analyze it, and not be able to see it in one seamless place. So now we have the ability to do that.
That's right.
Late nights in the field. I can think of a benefit that's coming that would be very handy. Jackson.
You talk about flag alerts?
I am.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I think this comes back to that same adage I was talking about with the pinch function coming out, like flag
Yeah.
alerts. It's one of those things that, like, you're telling me we didn't have this.
Why did we not?
Why did we have flags to begin
Yeah.
with? Because, that's kind of the question that when they came out with flag alerts, I'm like, actually, it's good because it's there on the screen. But, like, if it's something I need to watch out for, like you mentioned, a tile riser
Right.
or a hole in the field, tile, line that blew out. If it's not alerting me to it, what good is it doing? Because, like you said, when you're in the combine, you're checking a million different things, and it's usually not whether there's a flag in front of you on the display.
Yeah.
right.
So I think this is going to be a huge feature.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
audio is important.
Yeah.
correct. So I guess I don't need, you want to explain. So you have the ability to have an audio, that's not the right word. Audible. There you go.
There you go.
Audible alert. Yeah. For when a flag is approaching in the field, it's going to be in your path, right?
Yep.
right.
Rocks.
Yeah, rock's a big one, especially if you're running a high-speed tillage tool or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, even beans. I feel like, I
Yeah, oh, yeah.
honestly, I don't know how tall the beans are going to get this year. This might be more of a bushy than a tall year. I could see that happening. Obviously, there's a little bit of genetic components that come in,
Right.
but if we're cutting beans low to the ground,
Yeah.
I would for sure like an audible.
You always want to know where your rocks are. You always,
Heads
and
up.
tile risers is a big one, right? You always want to know
Yeah.
where our risers are, especially, again, you brought up watching so many different things. If it's nighttime and you're a little bit tired, or if it's night, you don't have the visibility. Maybe it's something as simple as, hey, this is where we tried a new foliar application, and I want to pay attention to see if there's a yield change.
Because we're looking at that split screen now.
right,
Correct.
right. I
Our
mean, it could be,
moisture versus our yield.
yeah, so many things. So I love it. Again, some of these are, you look back, you almost indicated it. It's almost no-brainery, no-brainer-ish, right?
Yeah.
Like we didn't have this before.
Our word's hard today.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So kind of like the pinch to zoom, right? The audible flag alerts are something was desperately needed.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
will be very welcome by our customers.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last thing that we have that's kind of like a no-brainer, like what? And because we've had it available on the app, being able to see it in screen could be largely beneficial depending on who you have doing your harvest versus your planting and all the applications in between. How well they know the field is what I'm trying to say here. But the pass lines, so being able to see our source direction and our source passes, and
Yes.
we'll have that layer available on displays, which it's been available on Op Center Mobile. But again, should we be looking at our phone and driving equipment? The answer is, of course, no.
No. But, and I guess it's probably a bit late. I probably should have mentioned this when we covered the grain harvest weight sharing, but that was something else. Talking about your phone and Op Center Mobile, you can actually see the weight too on your phone, right? So that takes away the extra communication again for like the semi drivers.
Yeah.
Can I go? Do I need to go? Where do I need, so
Yeah.
it pipes it into there too. So forgot
Yeah.
to mention that, but I figured we should probably cover
You know
that.
what'd be really cool is if they could add like a notes feature. So like, or like an option, a drop down where you could say this load to the semi driver, because they're probably using Op Center Mobile on their phone
Right.
to visualize what those weights are. If you could say, oh, this load is going to take it to the elevator, take
Yeah.
it to this elevator versus that elevator, take it and put it in the dryer, that'd be cool.
Well, so you mentioned the notes part about that, and when I talk about the weight sharing with a lot of customers or just people internally, right, salesmen, the next question they ask me is, well, can it document each load?
Oh yeah.
And that's
Of course.
and that's something it's not currently available. I'm not sure where
Yeah.
the weight sharing will go or if that will ever be a thing, but if it does, I imagine notes like that would be available, right?
Yeah,
You would
yeah.
put notes like, hey, this load went to the Southwest grain bin, or this load
Yeah.
went to, Dad's place, or however
Yeah.
they note it, So
Yeah.
another way to keep really good records.
Yeah, I think that, well, and I always think of systems where, you're like crop sharing, for example, or doing something that might be a split situation. Obviously, keeping track of those yields are imperative, and keeping track of the load specifically. So I think that it would be, again, we say like, oh, why hasn't this existed forever? When features like that do come out, or if they do come out, I think that we're going to sit here and have the same conversation of why has that not always been available? And that makes our lives so much easier. Of course, we need that feature. So, but yeah, no, that is a good call out that it doesn't document and record. Well, it does document, but it doesn't record. So there's no way to go back in time.
Right. It's more or less a live
It's real
feed,
time.
Real time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do your software update for this year.
Right. I was just thinking about that. We're talking about all these new technologies, but this is one of those years when we go to the field, there's a lot of stuff that guys can mess with.
Oh yeah.
And we haven't talked about, ATTA has been there, but it's continued to improve as well.
Yeah.
On the harvesting machines, and obviously
Highly encourage people to look into that this year, because we do have turn automation for combines.
ATTA is awesome, and some people have struggled to adopt it, right? And some people have really, really tuned it in and love it. I think this is gonna be a big hit in the combines. I really do. This more often, you're turning more often. Your turns are tighter.
The tighter turns for sure.
I was gonna say the tighter. I mean, some more anecdotal evidence where I wish I would have had ATTA. So I was talking about late planting, right? Got some corn planted June 1st, so still needed side dressed, and I just got it side dressed last Thursday, and it was a kind of late seed. Yeah, I know, right?
My agronomy update, we said we should be done with side dress. So
I remember listening to that one and going, "Uh-oh, Josh would not be very happy."
Were you
right
listening
now.
to it in the tractor?
He said, "I better get this done."
No, technically not. But I did not have ATTA capabilities while I was trying to turn in an 8120 with a little 8-row applicator. And boy, oh boy, was that
turn.
tight.
Yeah.
And trying to count your rows and get back. And if
There's a
I
lot
had
going on.
ATTA, right, like, and I could have just
How much extra corn did you rip out that wasn't needed? Maybe?
I don't want to talk about that.
That's a good set. That's a great tractor too, by the way.
Yeah, 20
Yeah.
series, awesome.
Yeah.
I need if I could implement it, that's a whole nother ordeal, but it'd be great if I could run that.
Interesting. Might have to just invest in that, Jackson.
Yeah, I know. Well, still
You
trying
can
to
be our guinea pig.
I'm still trying to push Grandpa off the whole 2630 thing, so need to get that taken care of first to
Right.
get
Yeah.
ATTA. So.
Running a deal.
Yeah.
Upgrade him to a G5.
Yeah.
Be
We
quite
already
a,
said that we like the G5s better anyways.
right,
So
be quite
I
a
know.
change.
I do.
Yeah. A lot of cool stuff going on as usual, as we say every year. But this is going to be a fun harvest with some of this technology. That's for sure. So
awesome stuff coming this fall.
yeah.
We kind of got off on a lot of bunny trails, but there is a lot of neat stuff coming.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I was trying to get you guys off.
Why would that be your goal?
Because we get to talk more.
Oh.
It's a lot going on. Call your local CST, your local salesperson if you got questions on any of this stuff. I mean, not all of it's advanced technology. A lot of it is advanced technology, and again, we said that the G5 is a great tool to enable a lot of some of the newer features anyway, and in the advanced licenses are such reasonably priced too. Want
Yeah.
to make sure we throw that out.
Yeah.
Again,
and it's truly because we're building on existing technology that
That's
has
right.
been around, and that makes it very, very attractive from a pricing perspective.
yeah, for the efficiency, for the investment, what you get for that investment, particularly from an efficiency standpoint, is it doesn't take you long to pay that off.
No, and one of the best parts is it's constantly improving, constantly getting
Yeah.
better. We talk about software updates or things that come to the G5 Advanced License Package. Like, it gets added on. It's not going to
That's
be
right.
changed to a different tier.
That started with 5. How many are we up to now? 8,
Yeah.
9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Good stuff.
So,
Good stuff. Parting thoughts?
Jackson,
I don't know if I'm going to listen to this or not.
you're still
I'm
thinking about that.
I'm still like I said, longtime listener. Love every podcast.
He's gonna listen. He's gonna listen to it 20 times, and Jordan's gonna be like, "Hey, we got 20 listeners to this podcast." It'll be like,
Yeah.
they're all Jackson.
Artificially boost our numbers.
Nah, good job.
All coming from Coldwater, Ohio.
Yeah. Funny.
Wonder who that could be.
Good job. You're a good teammate, Jackson. Get excited about technology. We're glad to have you. Glad to have you on.
Appreciate
you guys
it.
and your matching bald heads.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having us on. For
Yeah.
having me on. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Sounds
Maybe.
good. Hey, I'd love to be
If
back
he didn't
on.
hate it, yeah.
I don't know. You talk about pulling teeth to get other people on. I enjoy being on.
No, only some. But then those end up being the best episodes. And I'm like,
That's right.
yeah, I think they're just hustling us, honestly. But we won't talk about that. So with that, until next time.
Talk to you next time.